What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy P. Skip. Welcome to the best half hour of your entire Tuesday. You know what time it is. It's time to get into his court. My squad with me, T-Mac.
Hola.
Chili Will.
Gracias, amigo.
Let's do this.
Check this out. Luke chapter 14, verses 28 through 30. I'm reading this out of the NIV. It says this. Suppose one of you wants to build a tower. Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? For if you lay the foundation and are not able to finish it, everyone who sees it will ridicule. Verse 30 says, saying this person began to build and wasn't able to finish. Now, I said that because we're deep, thick, rich, and chocolatey up in a playoff race here, NBA playoff race. And there's just some things that, first of all, everybody expected or expects the Brooklyn Nets to come out of these. It's just it's a wrap, hands down, they got it. But what they didn't count up the cost was injuries. What they didn't count up the cost was Kyrie not being able to play. They didn't count Harden 30% or even 50%. And what they didn't count is KD. For me, in game 6, KD looked like he had dead legs. Because he looked like he spent everything he had in game 5 to drop that 49 piece on the Bucks. But it seems like, he just don't have the energy to carry this team past the Bucks. Another thing I'm looking at, no one expected Phoenix to do what they did. Also, no one expected the Clippers to do what they did to Utah, because they did not. The Clippers looked like Pandemic Paul looked like he was going to show up again, but he showed up as playoff Paul the last 2 games. Mm-hmm. So these costs won't count up and Embiid injured again. So who knows what you're going to get. And so with that being said, this counting up the cost is so vital. And let me say this. We're going to get into that. But here's the first thing I want to get into. If the Bucks lose this series, do you think Coach Bud still has a job? Now, Will, I'm going to go to you first because you are Bucksed out. And, go ahead, Will, let me hear your take on this.
I think they're going to fire Bud if he loses this series, but I don't think that's fair because number one, you said from the outset, Brooklyn is they the chosen ones. They supposed to win. They was a number 2 seed, but they really should have been a number 1 seed. The Bucks are a number 3 seed. So really, they're not supposed to win the East as a number 3 seed. The number 1 seed supposed to win. The number 2 seed supposed to win. For him pushing this all the way to the 7th game, I'll give him credit. But the reason why they're going to fire him, because they don't have any other moves to make except that. That's the only thing they can do. They can't do nothing else. So they have to fire him. But I don't think it's fair to fire the man because the Bucks really are not a championship team. And if his litmus test is he has to win the championship, he don't really have the personnel to win the championship. He don't. Now, with all these injuries and all this other stuff going on, he has a better opportunity. But if Philly is healthy and Brooklyn is healthy, the Bucks, aren't supposed to beat those teams. So, Bud did what he really was supposed to do. So I don't think he should, but I think he will.
Now, let me say this before I let you go, Tim. Now, here's my take on that. First of all, if Bud, with Giannis, Middleton, Lopez, and Drew cannot beat KD by themselves, you need to be fired.
Who Bud need to be fired?
Bud need to be fired because that's strictly coaching because they're outmanned. Second of all, inside information for what I have heard from people who work with the team, that 13 out of the 15 players do not like Bud, and they do not like his coaching style. They don't like his offense, and they don't like his defense. And so, from what I hear, remember, and even in the interview, when they asked Giannis, would you be willing to hold KD? Giannis' exact words were, well, that's up to the coach if he'll let me. Yes, I'm willing to, and yes, I want to, but it's up to coach if I can.
I mean, if I was the coach of the Bucks, I wouldn't put Giannis on KD either until the fourth quarter, and Giannis only got 4 fouls because KD fouling everybody out. He's unstoppable. So we shouldn't waste Giannis holding KD. We should put somebody else on KD. But Bud is the only scapegoat. He's the only person who they can change. They can't change anybody else. I think his contract might be close to the point where they probably can eat the money. But Bud gonna get another job because it's about 5-6 openings. He's going to get another job, and he's going to go somewhere, and he's going to take another team that has never had anywhere near the success that the Bucks have had. He's going to make them successful, get them all hyped and high, just like he did when he came to Milwaukee from where he was before. Yeah, and then but he, the Bucks are missing one of their starting players, DiVincenzo. Nobody talks about that. Nobody talks about how anybody else get hurt. Everybody, Kyrie hurt. DiVincenzo is the starting shooting guard, one of the best teams in the league, and he's not there. So the Bucks are actually playing undermanned also, but nobody's considering that. And last but not least, I don't care if they get Vince Lombardi to coach the Bucks. That ain't gonna help Giannis shoot free throws, and it's just not.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
PT.
Yeah, I think. I mean,
I've been waiting on Tim. I've been waiting on you, Tim. I've been waiting on you.
Now, y'all set the table pretty much well. All I got is
me and you was texting.
Y'all laid out the entree.
We was texting this week. We was going back and forth. I said, I can't wait till we get the cameras rolling.
Well, I mean, Coach Bud, to his credit, I mean, he did take a 15-win Bucks team and got them winning 60 games, in the season. And his regular season bona fides, kind of speak for themselves. He was a 60-game winner with Atlanta also, but he's also been one that didn't necessarily go all the way to the championship. When the owners first came in and bought the Bucks from Senator Cole, their mantra that they talked about from day one was, hey, we want to build a championship caliber and culture with this organization, and number two, we want to bring a championship back to Milwaukee. Now, everybody that comes into a new situation, particularly in professional sports, that's, kind of obligatory commentary from the owners and leadership to say those kinds of lofty things. These cats meant that. They weren't playing. They even made note about how when they would come to the airport and drive around the city, they didn't see a whole lot of Bucks gear, and they were going to change that as well. So I think the owners really want to build a championship team here because they are, quite frankly, like other owners, they're winners in their, professional life and finance and all this kind of stuff. So I think for Bud, what that means, what does that mean for Bud? That means that as far as they're concerned, they're trying to win a championship. And the time that Bud has been here, he's been phenomenally successful. Got some coach of the year, got some hardware, coaching the 2-time MVP, defensive player of the year. Even the general manager, got some hardware as well, recognized by the NBA for a job well done. Regular season, though. And given Bud's other teams that he's also jammed, like I mentioned earlier in this commentary, that the Atlanta Hawks, when he was coaching, won 60 games a couple of times as well. But they didn't win the championship either. So it seems like there is a certain level that Bud can take a team. And I think that the Bucks, the one player, the guy Bogdanovich, I think that's playing for the Atlanta Hawks, he would have been really helpful had that part of the deal not fallen apart when he came over, when Drew Holiday came over. He was going to be one of their packages or part of that package as well. So suffice it to say that I think if they lose this, to your point, Pastor Skip, you're facing an undermanned Brooklyn team. And if they were at full strength, he might get some leeway saying, hey, man, these guys built a super team. They went and stacked the deck. Who can't hardly nobody beat them? Come on, man. So he would have some grace, but I think the frustration of the last 2 years, the unceremonious departure from the second round against Miami last year left a bad taste in some folks' mouths, and the fact that this Brooklyn team is undermanned. If he can't get it done tonight, Yeah, it's going to be over for him. And the next coach coming in, this is going to be kind of a plum job, but the pressure will be on the next person that comes in too, because the ball club has built itself into, a very good team. Now the owners they have a desire for the team to be elite. And so we might need another player or two, but whoever comes in after Bud is going to also have the pressure to win a championship, because the expectation for the Bucks is not just be good, go to the playoffs. We're trying to at least get to the finals, if not win them, because these last 2 years, we've gone to the playoffs, been sucky at the end of the year, which means that the level of expectations have been raised up with this new tenure or this new regime that's in the mix now.
Yeah, I would agree. I really think, though, regardless to whether they win this game or not, I really think Bud is on the hot seat.
Think so.
I think even if he takes them to the finals, I think he's still on the hot seat. Because from what I'm hearing, again, now he's on the hot seat because the players don't want to play for him. They don't like his offense.
Yeah.
So that's something different. That ain't management no more. These is you're losing the locker room.
Do you think that the locker room, just on that very point, you think that if they got to the finals, like winning has a way of curing some ills, you think that the players will be a little bit more receptive to still playing for and with him if they get that far?
I personally think it'll be, we didn't win because of you. We won in spite of you.
Okay.
We don't like your offense. And you're not a great in-game adjustment maker.
Facts.
And we need a coach who can see the issues, make adjustments in game, say, hey, listen, KD can't keep cooking us like this. Somebody else got to hold it. Giannis, we may not need your points right now. I need you to shut him down. I need you to shut him down. I need you to cut his water off some. But those kind of in-game, and I get what you're saying, Will. You cannot hold him for the first 3 quarters. But if he's lighting us up in the fourth, somebody needs to start beating up on him, making him shoot higher, because it's one thing to adjust your shot to shoot over a 6-footer and you 7. It's another thing to adjust your shot to shoot over another 7-footer. That's a different adjustment that you got to make immediately. And so I haven't seen any great in-game changes that Bud has made that make me go, wow, what a great change. Bud doesn't seem to be that coach. It seems to be like whatever the offensive plan is, we're going to live or die with it. And that's it. So
it's obvious that you guys really want Bud.
No, he seems like he's
I'm saying this. Let me just make this point. We act like great coaches are a dime a dozen. There's nobody that we can go get that's not going to set the whole franchise back 2 years at least, because you got to get a new system. You got to work the system for a year. And then you got to, the next year you come in, everybody know the system. So that's a 2-year process. I really don't think it's fair for Bud to be charged with winning a championship when we all know the formula to winning a championship. You make the playoffs if you got 2 All-Stars. You can make the finals if you got 2 Hall of Famers. We don't have 2 Hall of Famers. You can win a championship. You got to have at least 2 Hall of Famers. We don't have that. We got 1 Hall of Famer, and that's it. And to say that man's supposed to do something that ain't never been done before with the circumstances that he have, I think we might be making a mistake where we might go get somebody else and something else could happen, and we could be back to that 15 and whatever team very quickly. Just like with the Packers playing around with Aaron Rodgers, we could be back to the pre-Brett Favre Packers very quick if y'all don't understand that, hey, people want to come here to play with Aaron Rodgers. They want to come here to play with Reggie White. Don't nobody want to come to Green Bay. Nobody saying, I can't wait to go play for the Packers. We're going to mess around and shoot ourselves in the head fooling around with Aaron Rodgers. And we might mess around and do ourselves a grave disservice by expecting Bud to do something that he really doesn't have the players and the talent to do.
Well,
yeah, go ahead, Pastor.
Go ahead, Tim.
I was gonna say that those are some very
valid points.
Valid points for sure. And I do think that the coaching carousel is not necessarily littered with gold-plated coaches. I think though in this situation, because of how the team had been constructed, because of how things have been going with this whole new regime, from having a brand new stadium to, even scoring the Democratic National Convention, pre-COVID, and this upward trajectory, I think the expectations are that, hey man, we're expecting you to deliver. And I think there's enough of a, for lack of a better phrase, cutthroat nature to this piece to where they're willing to take that chance. That is very much a possibility that, hey, you get somebody else that sets us back. The 2 years, the turnaround, learning the new system, all of that stuff is on point. I think though, with what these folks, fans, the ownership, the decision makers are kind of like, you know what, we're antsy, almost anxious to go to the next level. And I don't see them standing pat and being satisfied with having a good coach, having a great team. I don't know if they're wanting to stand pat for the next 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 seasons with that particular status quotient. What they're thinking is, Joker, we need to get to the finals. And if that ain't you, fair or not, move around next. And if you don't look like you doing anything, next person, you might have a shorter reign than Bud even, because what we are trying to do is build a championship team. And if you ain't part of that building process, you can scram. That's just the sense that I get.
And that's the right sense. But this is what I'm saying. If ownership and management, if that's how you truly feel, and y'all all know that the formula to win a championship is 2 Hall of Famers, go out and get me that other Hall of Famer and then hold me accountable. But you can't hold me accountable. It's a 5-man team.
Mm-hmm.
If we take one of the players off, I ain't still supposed to win.
Mm-hmm.
I gotta be where I got all of the stuff that I need. The Bucks need another Hall of Famer in order for Bud to be totally responsible. Don't get me wrong. The Phoenix Suns are doing well. Other teams are doing well. The Atlanta Hawks are doing well. Teams are doing well. And anything can happen. But the formula has been in the past that in order to win an NBA championship, you need at least 2 Hall of Famers on your roster.
Here's my take on that, Will, what you just said. It's a couple things that Bud has. First of all, the coaching carousel that's out there, go get Mark Jackson off that mic. Mark Jackson would love to coach the Bucks. And it would be it would be a major upgrade from Bud. Because he's proven he could build a team, ask Golden State.
And get the best out of the players too.
Right. And I think what he brings to the table is exactly what Milwaukee needs. 2, what about Sam Cassell? He's out there. 3, Rick Carlisle's out there. A championship coach. So there's options out there to go get, to be an upgrade from Bud. I just want to see what is the Bucks' expectations of him. Ownership. I think the other thing I think is this. Giannis said, I'm staying here because I want to win a championship here. But he ain't going to extend. And if they stay where they are and don't progress, he's going to say either get me a new coach or get me out of here. So they got to start making moves to make sure Giannis is happy. And Giannis is only happy if he can see I'm moving towards a championship. I'm not happy with just getting out of the second round. And I don't see Bud's.
Like I said, I agree with you. There's no argument here. Bud is gone. Bud is on the hot seat. Bud is the scapegoat. But Giannis, if you feel like that, won't you hit a couple of more free throws? Won't you hold on to the ball and quit bobbling the ball and dropping the ball all the time? Won't you quit averaging 2 offensive fouls a game? Won't you do that first? Won't you work on yourself before you start blaming the next man? Y'all know everybody in the world, everybody who y'all talk to, ask y'all the same question. Why Giannis keep shooting threes? Why he keep shooting threes? Everybody and called me about the Bucks, asked me that. And guess what? Why the coach don't make him stop? Why they don't make him? You think they ain't told the man, hey man, look here. But Giannis a grown man. He a franchise player. He can shoot threes if he want to. What they gonna do? Bench him? So to me, I don't think they're gonna go get somebody else. But they get Sam Cassell and Mark Jackson. If they don't get that other Hall of Famer, Sam Cassell and Mark Jackson gonna come up short Anybody they get gonna come up short unless they go get that other player. And just like Green Bay, Milwaukee ain't the most popular place to be, and people ain't trying to break their neck to be in Milwaukee. So we got to be careful that we don't get this, smelling ourselves and reading our own press clippings and think something, we blinded, we forgot the past really quick, and we think, oh, we've been doing well. Okay, well, we wasn't doing well until Bud came to town. So it's a lot of factors that go into it, but I think the number one variable is not a new coach. I think the number one variable is another Hall of Fame player. That's my opinion on it.
Now, Will, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying what you're saying isn't right, but looking at another Hall of Famer, where are you gonna put him? Because we ain't got the resources to get another Hall of Famer. One of them got it. One or two of the players that we got right now gotta go.
But DiVincenzo is still on his rookie contract, so they haven't extended any money to him. So they got Lopez is really underpaid, in my opinion. He's underpaid. The bench. You look at the players on the bench. There's nobody on the bench that I think is a max contract person. So they got some money. Plus, you got 4 guys who are billionaires that own the Bucks. Oh, y'all need to go over the luxury tax. Just go over the luxury tax.
Now, what you're telling us, I hear you saying that, Will. As a fan, you're saying that. But as an owner, what you're telling me is, I want you to go in your pockets and spend some more money so I can have a better team out there. Billionaires don't think like that. One thing I've learned about billionaires is they don't have any money to trick off.
They just like us.
Right.
It's like that's trick off money. They don't know what that is. There's no such thing as trick off money. All my money has a purpose.
Yeah. And I think that with the Bucks, though, I think
we all agree Bud is cooked.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Bud finna be smoked like the other Bud.
Right. I think the Bucks owner, I'll say this last piece on, I think the Bucks ownership, similar to other teams like, the LA Lakers of the world, when they want the championship bad enough, they will go ahead and spend that money. They will make the investment. And so if they are seeing that, okay, we're weighing our thing, we're going through all our data, we are weighing our options. And if they come to even, let's say, a conclusion that Will is saying, well, hey, if we do get rid of Bud, who are we going to get to replace him? The grass ain't always greener. So they're going to go through that entire piece. And if it boils down to, you know what, folks, we really need another Hall of Fame. We need a bona fide elite player. Let us go out and find that other player because we want to win a championship. And what they've demonstrated thus far in their ownership tenure is that they're willing to do what it takes to keep making progress. And I think they can smell that the organization is on the cusp of making that breakthrough from good team to elite team. Now it's about, making it happen. And if you are going to talk about championship or bust, literally put your money where your mouth is and get some more players. So whoever is coaching, whether it's Bud gets some grace or he's out of there and the next, coaching staff comes in, they have the full toolkit to get it done player-wise.
Well, listen, just switching notes, y'all. We got about 3 minutes left. Listen, I'm starting to see something happening down there in Dallas Maverick Lane. They're starting to remind me of New York, the Knicks, how folks didn't want to come there because of management and ownership. There are some rumblings in Dallas. Luka pretty much said, listen, if you don't get rid of that GM, I'm gone. I don't want to be here because I'm supposed to sign a max. I'm not if dude is gone. They quickly got rid of dude. He was gone, a day after they lost? Less than a week after they lost in the playoff.
I wish the Packers would take some notes from them.
And then check this out. Less than a couple of days after that, Carlisle said, listen, I don't want to coach here no more either. Y'all keep the money. I'll find me another job. I don't want to be here. What is going on in Dallas that is making a Hall of Fame coach, Eric Carlisle, who's won a championship in Dallas, who has said, I don't want to be here. I got a player on my team that is just next level, transcending who will soon be the best player in the league, and I don't want to coach him. What's going on, do you think, in Dallas that is making, do you think it's a toxic environment, or do you think this 22-year-old and Luka Doncic is smelling himself so tough that he's telling coach, you can't tell me what to do. You don't know what you're doing. I'm out of here. Or do you think it's toxic from the head down?
Tim, I'm gonna let you go on that one, man, because I mean, 3 minutes ain't gonna be enough for me. Go ahead.
Right. Well, I'll try to knock it out in a minute or two. I think it's a mixture of all of that. I think it might boil down to Luka has a little bit of prima donna-ishness in him. I get the sense that Mark Cuban as an owner is a real cool dude, down to earth. He, can kind of get in your face and stuff like that too. Shark Tank you a bit, but they have the best facilities. They eat the best food, got all the accoutrements in the locker room and all this kind of creature comforts, the airplanes that they charter to fly to and from games. That gives me the sense that, hey, I'm a player's owner. Whatever I need to do to make this joint as slick for y'all as possible, I'm going to do that. So Luka comes in and, gets love and, well-deserved. He's a great player, must-see TV. If he stays healthy, a first-ballot Hall of Famer, he's a phenom. There's no doubt about that. Rick Carlisle, I think, might have gotten caught in the crosshairs, though, and said, you know what? I'm just going to go ahead and walk away from this situation because it hasn't reached the point of being super foul. But in business, sometimes decisions have to be made. Sometimes you have to part ways, and you have a bit of personalities, challenges. I'm thinking it's more Luka because the organization, I haven't really heard, a history of them being foul and messy like that.
Let me add this to that, Tim.
Go ahead.
Yet there was also sexual harassment suits within upper management.
Fact, and they brought in that African-American lady to clean up some of those things. So again, where there was, smoke, there was fire, some stuff.
Racism was both in there.
Right. So I retract my statement about them never having drama. But I will say though that the impression that I got was Mark Cuban was one that was trying to be as accommodating as possible. Perhaps he was maybe a little bit too hands-off and had some lieutenants in place that ran out and were just straight up jerks. Right. And now some of that stuff, the chickens are coming home to roost a little bit too. So I'm thinking it's a little bit of all of that, player and management, to the point that you just raised with those other issues that they've had in the past.
Really nice.
Let me just say this though. One of the things that make me think that there's a problem with management and not the players. Carlisle leaving and Donnie Nelson Jr. leaving. Mark Cuban hired this other guy who was a gambler from Las Vegas, and he has a high level position. And from what I'm hearing from different sources, is that guy is making some decisions that Don Nelson didn't like and that Carlisle didn't like. And they said, you know what? If that's your guy, I'm gone. And then Rick Carlisle was like, I'm with Donnie. So if Donnie ain't going to be doing it, I'm not going to work for that guy. I'm gone. So I don't know what's going on with Luka Doncic, but I think it's something going on with management. And one of the things that make me think that all of a sudden they want to bring Dirk Nowitzki in and hire him for the team. All of that to me is a PR move. So right. I think it's something going on with higher level management other than the players. I think Carlisle left because they fired Don Nelson. Don Nelson left because he didn't want to answer to that guy. That's what I'm hearing, and that's what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I had heard something about that guy too. Like a ghost in the machine doing some stuff. Now you ain't officially on the basketball side of things. Why are you pulling strings? I did hear some grumblings about that as well.
Well, cool. Great show, fellas. Listen, meet us back here, same bat time, same bat channel, right here. Joy 1340 AM, 98.7 FM. Also YouTube and Facebook every Tuesday from 7 to 7:30. Until next week, have an amazing week and peace.